Welcome back to another episode of MRP Easy Manufacturing Podcast. Today we talk about inventory cycle counting. Inventory cycle counting is a stock auditing method where a portion of your stock is counted on a regular, rotating basis instead of all at once. Think of it as slicing your inventory into bite-sized pieces. You can count a portion of your inventory at a time rather than shutting down your entire operation to count everything in one go. This way, your business keeps running smoothly while you gradually check through your inventory. Inventory cycle counting is a form of perpetual inventory management in which stock levels are updated continuously. It usually relies on digital tools like inventory management software, barcode systems, and RFID tools for inventory tracking, spotting inventory discrepancies, and keeping accurate stock levels in real time. Cycle counting versus annual counting. There are two main ways to keep track of your inventory: cycle counting and annual counting. Let's break down the differences. Annual counting is pretty much what it sounds like. You pick one day, or maybe a few days, each year to count everything in your inventory. With this approach, you stop production, get all hands on deck, and count every item in your warehouse. It's a huge task and can be stressful because it disrupts your regular operations. Plus, if any mistakes happen during the year, you might not catch them until this big count day. On the other hand, cycle counting takes a different approach. Instead of tackling everything at once, you count smaller portions of your inventory regularly throughout the year. As a result, cycle counting is not as overwhelming, and it doesn't require that you shut down your business. Another major benefit: you can catch and fix errors sooner than you would if you're counting annually. So, which is better? It depends on your business needs, but many businesses find that cycle counting offers more benefits. It's less disruptive, keeps your inventory more accurate, and fits better into the day-to-day flow of operations. Annual counting is still a good option for some smaller businesses. However, most businesses could benefit from the efficient method of cycle counting. Types of cycle counting. There are different ways to cycle count. The one you choose will depend on your inventory management goals and business needs. Let's take a look at the most common types of cycle counting. Control group cycle counting. With this method, you focus on counting the same set of items repeatedly. The idea is to start small and controlled so you can fine-tune your counting process. By sticking to this group, you can spot any issues in your counting method or find discrepancies in your inventory records. This method is great if you're new to cycle counting because it helps you catch mistakes early on. Random sample cycle counting. Random sample cycle counting is pretty straightforward. You simply pick items to count at random. This method gives you a good overall picture of your inventory's accuracy without having to focus on any one area. Over time, this random method ensures that every item in your inventory has been counted. This method is a good fit if your inventory is relatively stable and you want to keep things simple. It's also useful when you're short on time or resources because you can be flexible about what and when you count. ABC analysis-based cycle counting. ABC analysis-based cycle counting is all about focusing on what matters most. It's based on the Pareto principle, which says that 80% of your sales come from 20% of your inventory. By counting your most valuable items, the 20% group or Group A, more frequently, you guarantee that your most critical inventory is always accurate. To do ABC cycle counting, divide your inventory into A, B, and C groups based on their importance. A items are counted more often, B items less often, and C items the least. Use this method to prioritize how you spend your time and resources. This method is ideal if you have a wide range of inventory items, with some being much more crucial than others. Process control cycle counting. Process control cycle counting combines inventory counting with quality checks. With this method, you're not just counting items, you're also checking their condition and quality standards as you go. This method is useful in industries where product quality is as important as quantity. Why is inventory cycle counting important in inventory management? Inventory cycle counting might just be one of the smartest moves you can make for your business. Here's why. Accuracy. Cycle counting keeps your inventory records accurate throughout the year. Regularly checking small parts of your inventory helps you catch and fix mistakes before they become bigger problems. When your records are accurate, you know exactly what's on hand, so you can fulfill orders promptly and avoid frustrating delays. This accuracy also helps you manage inventory turnover. A higher level of stock control means you'll know when to reorder, so you don't overstock or run out of stock. Cost savings. Overstocking and stockouts are common issues in inventory management, and both can be costly. Overstocking ties up your capital in products that aren't selling fast enough. This can cost you money on storage and tie up cash. On the other hand, stockouts mean missed sales opportunities. You'll have unhappy customers when their demand exceeds your supply. Improving your inventory accuracy through methods like cycle counting helps tackle both overstocking and stockouts. By knowing exactly what you have in stock, you can exercise better control over your ordering process so you're not over-ordering or understocking. Regulatory compliance. Keeping accurate records isn't just about saving money. It's also essential for meeting legal and financial reporting standards. When you regularly cycle count, you know that your inventory data is always up to date. This makes it easier to comply with regulations, especially if you're subject to audits. Accurate records make the audit process smoother and will protect your business from potential penalties. Operational efficiency. Unlike the big disruptive annual counts, cycle counting is less invasive. You can keep your business running while checking your inventory simultaneously. Setting up a cycle count inventory system. Setting up a cycle count inventory system doesn't have to be complicated. Here's a suggested workflow for how to get started. Choose the right cycle counting method. First, decide which count technique suits your business best, such as ABC method. Focus on counting high-value or fast-moving items more frequently. Random sample method. Periodically count different items throughout the year to check for accuracy. Control group method. Repeatedly count a small group of items to compare against overall accuracy. The goal is to pick a method that keeps your inventory accurate without eating up too much of your time. Set up a counting frequency. The next step is to decide how often you'll do your cycle counts. This isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. It depends on things like how much inventory you have, the value of your items, and how quickly they move. If some of your products tend to fly off the shelves or are high value, consider counting them more often than the less popular or lower-cost products. Develop a cycle counting schedule. Once you've figured out what to count and how often, it's time to decide when you'll count. Set up a cycle counting schedule. Remember that consistency is king. Pick specific days or times for your counts and stick to them. Over time, this will make cycle counting a regular part of your routine, and that's where the magic happens. Sticking to a regular cycle count will keep your inventory accurate and up to date. Train your team. Your cycle count system depends on the people doing the counting. Make sure your team knows exactly how to conduct cycle counts and why they're important. Proper training minimizes human error. Use the right tools. Finally, consider implementing inventory management software, IMS, warehouse management systems, WMS, barcodes, or RFID systems to make the process smoother. Inventory management systems automate the inventory counting process by scheduling regular cycle counts, assigning tasks to staff, and tracking completion. IMS can automatically update your inventory records in real time. When you're fed real-time information about your inventory levels, you can make better decisions about ordering and restocking. Common cycle counting challenges. Cycle counting is a great way to keep an accurate inventory, but it's not without its set of challenges. Here are the most common issues you might face. Human error. Human error is an ever-present risk. People make mistakes, especially when counting inventory. Miscounts, data entry errors, and simply overlooking items can all lead to inaccuracies. To minimize these errors, ensure your staff is well-trained in inventory counting. You might also incorporate double-checking as part of your counting workflow. Resource allocation. Cycle counting takes time and effort, which means you need to balance it with your day-to-day operations. It can be tricky to find the right time to do your counts without disrupting your business. Consider scheduling your cycle counting for times when you know it will be slow, such as before or after a holiday. System integration issues. Integrating cycle counting with your existing inventory systems can sometimes be challenging. If your systems don't work well together, it can lead to data discrepancies or make the counting process more complicated. Take time to ensure that your inventory management system or manufacturing ERP is set up correctly and works well with the other tools you use, such as your barcode scanners or RFID tools. Resistance to change. Let's face it, most people don't like change. Introducing a new cycle counting process might meet with some resistance from your staff. They might be used to the old way of doing things and hesitant to change. To get their buy-in, explain the benefits of cycle counting to your staff and involve them in the process from the start. When employees see how cycle counting can make their jobs easier and improve overall operations, they're more likely to embrace the change. Cycle counting best practices? Here's how to get the most out of cycle counting. Be consistent. Stick to a regular counting schedule so that it becomes a routine part of your operations. This consistency will help keep your inventory records accurate over time. Prioritize important items. Focus on high-value, fast-moving, or critical items. These should be counted more often to avoid costly mistakes. Use technology. Technology can make cycle counting easier and more accurate. Tools like barcode scanners, RFID tags, and inventory management software can speed up the process and reduce errors. Train your team. Make sure everyone involved knows how to perform cycle counts correctly and understands why they're important. Proper training leads to more accurate results. Review and adjust. To maintain accuracy, you must commit to regularly assessing your cycle counting process. If something's not working, be ready to make changes. Key takeaways. Inventory cycle counting is a method of auditing stock on a regular, rotating basis to maintain accuracy without disrupting operations. It is a core part of perpetual inventory management, keeping stock levels updated continuously. The importance of cycle counting lies in its ability to improve inventory accuracy, reduce costs, and enhance operational efficiency. Regular small counts help prevent overstocking, stockouts, and missed errors that would otherwise go unnoticed. There are different types of cycle counting methods, including control group, random sample, ABC analysis, and process control. Each method serves different inventory needs, allowing businesses to tailor their approach for maximum efficiency. Setting up cycle counting can involve choosing the right counting method, establishing a schedule, training staff, and using technology. Consistency and planning are key to making cycle counting a seamless part of daily operations. Inventory management software can automate and streamline the cycle counting process by updating stock records in real time, scheduling counts, and reducing human error, resulting in more accurate inventory tracking. That wraps up this episode of the MRP Easy Manufacturing Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. For more information about us, visit mrpeasy.com. See you next time.